thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, Nick, and both the speakers. Thank you very much for joining us for today's session. So, just to give you a background, this session has been conducted very interestingly. I know people at Kober in India because I was interacting with them at around 2010, 2015. Sorry, yeah, 2010, 2015-ish. And Vibe is part of the larger Grover group. And so from those people in India, I connected to the Vibe team in Europe. And now, thankfully, we have people from India who are actually joining us at midnight. It's, I think, 11:35 there. So we have them joining at 11:35, and I have the speakers joining me from Europe, which is around their evening time. So welcome everybody. Thanks both of them. While I let the speakers introduce themselves, I want to say that it has been really interesting to talk to Nick and Tiago. Nick is the Chief Growth Officer and the Chief Product Officer at Vibe. And Tiago is the Chief Technology Officer. Both are highly experienced. And I think both are very good friends. That's what I could make out from when I was talking to them. And one time when their friendship was tested was, I think, last week. I can see the smile, and I'm sure they'll talk to you more about it. Both are ardent football fans. And by football, I mean a sport that you play with your legs, not a sport where you hold the ball in your hand and run. That's not football. So, yeah, both are ardent football fans. And Tiago is in Portugal. He is a fan of Benfica, and Nick, being in Germany, is a fan of Bayern Munich. And both had their game last week. So I don't know if they're still friends after that game. But I'll leave it at that. Have them introduce themselves. Yeah, take it from here, Nick and Tiago.
Yeah, thank you very much for the great introduction. Yeah, thanks for having us here. We are friends again, yeah, and that is exactly what gamification is also about, yeah, to have a bit of healthy competition, yeah, to have a motivation to win, but then also set common challenges at the very end, yeah, and reassemble again like you would be on the pitch, on the field, yeah, on the soccer, or as you called it correctly, a football field, yeah. And that's what is gamification all about, and that is what we do with Vibe in close collaboration also with Scottish Kerber, yeah, what we bring to the B2B, to the work environment. And today we would like to talk about unlocking engagement, and really the psychology about it. Yeah, and our goals for today's webinar are that we do a short introduction, then we go into kind of high-level key trends in supply chain logistics industry before we deep dive really into the psychology of engagement and gamification, and then show you how game mechanisms can really be applied in real life in the supply chain and logistics industry. We will wrap this up in around about 30 minutes, and then we leave plenty of time for a lively Q&A discussion with you. We really invite you to participate. Let's make this interactive together. With this, I would like to introduce us very briefly again. My name is Nick. I'm the Chief Growth and Product Officer. Launched my first logistic venture after my bachelor, then joined an M&A and strategy consulting firm, went back to founding ventures, and lastly, together with Kerber and Tiago, we founded Vibe. Handing over to you.
In quick presentation as well. 12 years or more than 12 years in consultancy around Europe, worked in a few countries, in a few projects. After a few years in consultancy, I decided that I was done with that, and I came to Kerber and founded this application, software as a service, together with Nick. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we're super happy to be here today, yeah, in close collaboration with Scottish Kerber. And of course, thanks again to all of you and to Florida Gulf Coast University to invite us. Happy to talk to you about basically 3 core topics today, yeah. First, we would like to provide an introduction to the concept of gamification and its key principles, and then discuss how we implement and transform the supply chain industry by applying game-like elements in this sector. And at the end, we want to facilitate an open discussion with you and really kind of explore new ideas, and make this interactive. But before we kick it off, let's gamify the entire event today. What we want to do with you is that we give you the chance to win a 20 euro Amazon voucher by participating in certain poll questions, which you will see throughout the entire event. Please answer accurately, but also timely, so speedy. Before we now get started and test your knowledge, be really, it's at the end of each section, you will get a poll question. So pay attention. Be actively involved. So therefore, now let's test it. And please enter with your mobile phone and scan the QR code, which you see in the top right, and answer one question. But before you answer, please do not push send. Click on anonymous and enter at least your full name. Don't, not company, not email address, but your full name at least, please. First and sure name. And then answer one question. So please now take out your mobile, scan the QR code here on the top right, click on anonymous, enter your full name, and answer the question in one word exactly. 2 participants typing, perfect, 4 typing. Please take out your mobile phones, answer the question in one word. What do you expect from today's webinar? Yes, one word: education, gamification. Exactly. Take out your mobile phone, please, if you have one next to you, and scan the QR code on the top left. Yes. Inspiration, engagement. That's core topic, also for today's webinar, really. Exactly. Improve teaching toolkit, almost one word, but we'll also provide exactly this throughout the webinar, and we will learn more about gamification in the supply chain industry. All right, I see a few more participants typing. Please come to an end. Efficiency is also a nice byproduct of gamification, and engagement at the very end. Very good. All right. Now, you all should have been logged in. Please, going forward, you will need your mobile phone from time to time. But now we would like, looking at the time, kick it off and go into the key trends in the supply chain industry. And we lay out here 3 key trends. First is the e-commerce growth. So you have a rapid expansion of the e-commerce sector, and the warehouse solutions are reshaping warehouse operations. So there's an increase of demand, to manage higher order volumes and meet faster delivery expectations. This leads to use gamification elements to boost employee intrinsic motivation and drive faster and more efficient delivery. Second one is that you have real-time data analytics, which enables basically warehouse or logistic companies to make data-driven decisions. And now when you have this data, use the data and leverage them to gamify daily tasks and enhance employee motivation. And lastly, safety and health. Back in the days, 2021, you had approximately 5.5 workplace injuries per FTE, full-time employee, full-time equivalent in the warehousing and storage industry. With all the topic around ESG, health and safety becomes more and more important. And also here you can apply gamification elements, for example, 0 accidents to enhance at the very end, health and safety measures. All of these are key trends determining that the workforce trends in the supply chain logistic industry also show towards gamification. We have the rising number of employees in the warehouse industry. The number tripled from 2013 to 2023 to almost 2 million employees in the warehouse sector itself. Everybody talks about robotics. Yes, there's a certain stagnation in the data, but still 2 million people doing the job out there. So if you want to drive efficiency going forward, it's still people doing the job and you need to motivate them. underlined also by certain demographics and income data. 74% of workers in the warehousing sector are male, with average years of 38, 39, and an average income of $38,000, with a lower income wage at $15,000 or $16,000. All of these data points now, and this you see here on the bottom of the slide, lead to basically, that you have a workforce growth slowing a little bit, but it's becoming more important to engage and retain the employees. So gamification can boost job satisfaction and help motivating your workforce or the workforce out there. Underlined by Gallup research data. Gallup is one of the leading research institutes for engagement, and they basically say that only 21% of the people are engaged. In turn, 79% of the people are not engaged, and this costs the economy trillions out there. Lots of data, lots of information. Let's get back to the engaging part now a little bit of this webinar. Please take out your mobiles and jump into our first poll question. Let's see who exactly. Rachel joined. Kat joined. Great. Please join. All right. Pierce there. All right. I on 13 and 16 participants. All right. Please. 5 more seconds to join. Great. Amazing. Now, you should see in a second, the poll question. And again, it's the one with the quickest answers will win. We launch the poll in 3, 2, 1, launch, please. Based on the Gallup research we provided, what percentage of employees are not fully engaged? 5 seconds to answer. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you very much. Most of you, yes, got the answer right. Thank you very much for participating. We will see later what we do with the data we gathered. Now, let's come back to the psychology of engagement and gamification. And we would like to start a bit of a theory, and we brought today 3 core principles and theories which support the need of gamification. So first to mention is the self-efficiency by Albert Bandura, which basically refers to an individual belief in their ability to succeed in specific situation or accomplish certain tasks. High self-efficiency boosts confidence, and leading individuals to take on more challenging tasks, and show a certain persistence. The second one we wanted to discuss with you is the achievement motivation by David McClelland, where we look at the theory which suggests that individuals with a high need for achievement are motivated to set challenging goals for themselves. And this has an impact on the success behavior at the same time. Success behavior can be shaped by reinforcement, positive reinforcement, like rewards, for example, like we're doing it today in this webinar. And we all know the concept of smart goal setting. Goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And when you have these smart goals, you can gamify them and increase the intrinsic motivation. Speaking of intrinsic motivation, if you want to find out more about this topic, please reach out to our research and design team lead, Maria Drummond. She's a postgraduate with a postgraduate degree in psychology from University from Algarve. She just published an article on our website, which you can also, again, download now here or later if you like. Please also feel free to reach out to Maria. You can find her on LinkedIn if you want to find out more about really the psychology behind of gamification. With this said, Tiago, over to you.
I mean, adding to what Nick just said, of course, that a lot of the game elements that we use are well known for everyone. Challenges, rewards, leaderboards, and feedback. It's the bread and butter for everyone that works in every part of industry or any part of the industry, but also it's the bread and butter that for us that we are in university, or if you are in school, or if we play games. So all what we are doing here is that we are picking up all those elements that we are well aware in our day-to-day life, and we can give you examples. I mean, we are surrounded by stuff that happens in B2C, on business to consumer, around us with gamification. Miles every time we fly, either it's Miles and More from Lufthansa or in US from United or Delta. We are surrounded with that. That's the first, I guess, everyone is a first case of gamification that everyone is understands and learns as soon as we get to 16, 17 years old and we start traveling. Then, of course, fuel turn points into fuel. But we can go even beyond and when Nike applications. So the challenges, if you run 5K or if you run 10K, you get your badges. Everything that we are talking here, and last but not least, Duolingo. So they are the most successful gamification app for B2C, definitely to learn languages. So all these examples are learning or gamification through some kind of component, either rewards, leaderboards, badges, etc. That releases the endorphin that you are making positive stuff around you, and you are wanting to keep going. And since we want to keep going, let's go to the second question. Get ready. You should not log in again. If you open your phone, you will see the question there in a second. Just open it again. It should be already there. 2 more seconds. Let's go. Second question. Which of the following is an example of a gamification element? 7 seconds. Sorry, 5, 3, 2, go. So 94% of the people answered leaderboards, and it's definitely the correct answer. Okay. Moving forwards, game mechanics and in the supply chain and logistics industry. What we are going to show here in this next few slides is our approach to gamification and what we want to achieve and what we want to help our customers to achieve. So we have 3 major applications. On the left-hand side, you can see the app for employees. The app for employees is the app that the users will see to see their results, to see their challenges, what they need to achieve, but it's something that they do not need to use during their work. So what we are building here is an app that provides information, but people will continue doing their work. Examples. So be the first to get 300 medium size pics in a week. So this is the green one in the middle on the app. So this is the type of a challenge that we have with our clients in throughout our clients, and it's fairly straightforward. But if someone achieves 300 pics, will get rewards, and those rewards will then create this cycle that people will feel better because they are rewarded with their work. In the center, you have the desktop back office tool for managers. So we provide to warehouse manager, a shift manager, someone that's has a team and wants to motivate them. We provide a dashboard tool. I mean, more than a dashboard, but it has dashboards, of course, to create challenges, to create items in the store that allows people to fetch or to choose what they want to use with their coins and coins that they get as a reward. And all those small pieces, again, create the gamification layer for that. Lastly, we have the public display, which is we show the data in real time in a shop floor. So instead of people stopping their work, stopping using their mobile phone in order to picking up the mobile phone to see their results, they can see live in the shop floor in public displays, and those public displays will show that first the challenges and who is in first. Again, motivating people to do the extra mile going forward. Quick explainer here. So we define challenges on the manager. The user will see the challenge, participate, do their normal work. Do not need to use the application stop working to use the application. They can just go home. When they are going home, let's say they are in the train, they see, oh, the results are in. Don't know, push notification. They go in. Oh, I have this amount of coins. I go to the leaderboard. I'm in first, but I have this amount of coins that I can then go and buy tickets, for example, for the Miami Dolphins NFL team. And of course, if I'm buying tickets for the team that I support, and I can go with my son or my daughter to see that match, either it's NFL or NHL, or it doesn't matter really, on an NBA. It will, of course, create better engagement with the company that is providing me that experience. So that's the overall idea here, and I will hand over back to Nick to explain how we do this in our challenges.
Yeah, exactly. And when we go out there and look at the market, we discovered that you have very different cultures also across not only countries, but also within certain industries. And especially in the supply chain and logistic industry, we explored that you often have either companies which say we want to increase a bit of healthy competition, with solo level games, where you say you want to rather foster a bit of team building, where you have team level games. All of this is backed by various kind of games we often apply in the supply chain logistic industry. Rather, the first one wins. So have kind of speed-based games, or you define high score games. So a certain team with the highest score, or a certain individual with the highest score wins a challenge. Or you can set even certain targets and take people with you on the growth path, and set individual challenges based on certain targets to a certain team or to an individual. And if you want to have it a bit more competitive, you could also think about duels. Day shift versus night shift, distribution center 1 versus distribution center 2. All of these are various game times which we discover are needed out there in the market, and therefore we see as a corporate venture the need to integrate into software players out there in the warehouse and logistic industry, like, for example, into the warehouse management system of Kerber, but also collaborating closely with Kodrich, Kerber, or Zebra, which is one of the leading handheld device provider for warehouse and logistics. Again, also important to mention is, from a gamification perspective, that we have a global reach, but the core market is North America. They do understand gamification, do understand of the concept of connecting points and coins, but it also gets more and more attractive in Europe, but also globally, as you can see here, that we operate with customers in Brazil, in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia, and going forward also in India. Having said this, we would like to now look a little bit at different use cases. And again, gamification can apply basically to any industry out there. We can gamify any success KPI, which is data-driven and impacted by human behavior. Today, we would like to focus with you on the deep dive of warehouse workers. And what we often do is, based on the key trends we show you, now derive certain key challenges in the warehousing sector. We could think and talk about manual task tracking and limited visibility, inaccurate inventory management, poor lead optimization, or handling returns. At the same time, you see certain idle time or order picking inefficiencies, backed by also training and compliance issues. And now when we look at these key challenges and zoom in, we have certain use cases. For example, we would like to pick out a few here, looking at the time and not go into detail of all of them. is, for example, that we can automate certain tasking and reporting by certain real-time visibility into task statuses, progress and performance around it. You can optimize the inventory accuracy, for example, by introducing target-based challenges that reward workers, employees for accurate inventory counts, and at the same time, timely updates. We could now go on and on, but for example, if we look at the process here of, if you could go back one slide of the return efficiency, we implement target-based games where workers earn points and coins for efficiently handling return items, based on certain metrics such as, speed of processing returns. On the other side, one of the key challenges we often play here is increase the efficiency when it comes to order picking, where we introduce speed-based games for individual pickers. And last but not least, training and compliance. One of the core topics also, go into learning going forward and take the employees with you on a growth path by applying, for example, certain challenges around conducting and the progress of certain training sessions you've been assigned to. And how we actually do that is that we often go out there in the industry and talk to our customers about 4 core topics. We want to find out what kind of process tasks do you do? How does the process look like? What kind of job needs to be done? Then we want to find out who are the personas, the employees actually doing the job. Who should be gamified? Before we go into number 3, the pain points or the behavior. So what is the greatest challenge the organization face along the predefined processes or tasks? And what behavior would they like to encourage? Because gamification does not always need to be applied to only a pain point. You can also apply it to a certain behavior you want to enrich, which is already there and you just want to keep stable. Last but not least, and it's very important, is that it's a data-driven business model. So we ask what kind of is the North Star KPI, which should be gamified to measure success on the predefined challenges along a certain process or task. Based on these 4 questions, we have here an example answers. Let's make it easy. We have the process and tasks of picking in the warehouse, operators doing the job. You have a bit of high workload due to the need to handle additional picks. And you have the data's picks per team according to the WMS warehouse management software data. Based on these answers, we can now provide games around challenges. Like we go here into the picking marathon with the goal to have an interactive challenge, a team-based challenge to encourage teams and to maximize productivity, promote efficiency, and feel also engaged as a team and win together as a team. A little bit like we did it at the very beginning of this session when we talked about the football matches. And then the team with the highest registered number of picks in a given period wins the challenge, and we retrieve the data out of the WMS system. We could now go on and on with examples, but looking at the time, we want to have an interactive discussion with you. Please note that we also gamify, for example, in the delivery industry or here in our fully automated warehouse, scene from scene, where we only have one station not gamified, and we increase productivity by 5% within 5 months. So if you want to find out more, again, please feel free to scan the QR code down there and download it. And I guess this will be also recorded, so you can also scan that later on. If you want to really find out how we do that in real life, and please feel free also to reach out to us afterwards. Now, looking at the time, let's come to our last poll question. Please get ready for it's the last question. Now is the time to win. Get ready. We launch the poll in 3, 2, 1. Launch and answer how many months were necessary for Sin to achieve a 5% increase in productivity? How many months? And yes, okay. Correct answer is 5 months. Yeah, so not even half a year, and the productivity increased already by 5%. Top-notch software in a fully automated warehouse implemented. Only one station manually, and we gamified exactly the station and reached 5% increase. Cool. Thank you very much. Do we show the winner now?
Yes.
Yes. So now,
Drum rolls.
and the winner of our today's challenge is. Oh, okay. Piyush.
Let's give it to somebody else.
Okay, so we give it to someone.
Rodrigo, the next person, Rodrigo.
Then Rodrigo, congratulations. You answered almost all questions right. In the shortest time frame together with Elvis, and this is a draw, and draw means you both are the winners. Thank you very much for participating. I mean, this was now done with Slido. But usually exactly this is why we have an even more engaging application around it to take exactly congratulations to take people with you on the growth journey, to pay attention to certain tasks. But be also a bit of intrinsic motivated. Doesn't always need to be the monetary reward. Of course, you want it. But we have also customers which, for example, have the WAL belt for the winning team, or we proposed let the winning team decide who plays the music for 1 week in the warehouse environment. Good. With this said, we would like now to open up a lively discussion. We happy to connect also afterwards. You see here Tiago and my QR code for our LinkedIn profiles. Feel free also again scan it and connect to us. But now I guess we have 23 minutes left, and we would very much appreciate a lively discussion with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick and Tiago. To the participants, I would like to say that I've had engaging discussions with both of them. So please feel free to reach out. Any kind of questions, I'm sure you'll get good answers. Or if you don't, I have a ton of questions already in spite of our discussions.
Zachary, you have the first one, if I see that correctly.
Yeah, hey, thanks. And thank you for your time today. I appreciate you putting this on. This has been really cool. I have a question, and if this doesn't make sense, let me know. I'm just trying to think of this still in my head. So for the example you just showed about warehousing and how you can implement gamification processes there, do you find that you have to kind of universally apply these processes? So say, for instance, we just apply a gamified model to the outbound process. Do you find that that will then create bottlenecks at your point of shipping? Do you then have to go, is it like an all or nothing kind of thing? If you're going to gamify one kind of process or one function of your little warehouse, does that work as well as doing the whole thing? Can it lead to bottlenecks? Does that make sense?
So that makes sense. The question makes sense. Tiago, you want to go first, please?
I was just going to say that totally makes sense, and we have an example for that. But please, Nick.
No, you go.
I mean, it's exactly the example that we just talk about Sin. So this is a Portuguese facility. They have a fully automated since a pallet is unloaded and enters the warehouse, and all the step is automated until someone needs to create a pallet for going away. And the only part that's from all of these steps until someone do a pallet, only the palleting process that's manual that we are gamifying. After that, someone goes to picking up the pallets and dispatches outbound from the facility. So, and we were able to increase the 5% productivity, only that. So, I mean, yes, the short answer will be yes, it's possible, and it does not need to be around everything, or as you said, all or nothing. You can really go in small parts that you feel that would be would have quick wins, for example, and then we go further. That's just an example. Yeah.
Okay,
Probably
thank you.
adding to this also to the bottleneck question, basically, right? So let's assume that you now figure out that you have one process step optimized, yeah, which leads probably to a backlog on the following process step. The beauty of gamification is at the very end that as long as you have the data in place and you can basically tie the data to a team or an individual, you can also go to the next process step and gamify it, because gamification basically can be applied along the entire value chain. That's what we do with the 4 questions or 4 topics questions we provided.
Awesome. Thanks, all.
We had a question from somebody.
Rodrigo, right?
Yes, Rodrigo had a question.
Hi guys, quick question. So if we think about a sort of customer order picking process, and we think on a big warehouse, and we might have pallets with mono products, pallets with multiple products. So if you gamify and saying the speed of picking, won't you be creating also a little bit of a side effect of a byproduct for people trying to go for the easy pick rather than the most urgent pick? So there are some patterns that people will find the holes. They'll find the holes in the process to try to get the reward rather than actually going for the right right picking process or the right critical path within my warehouse. So did you find any sort of examples, and how did you tackle those examples and stop them from happening?
Can I piggyback on Rodrigo's question that when this picking is gamified, does accuracy suffer?
Okay, let me jump on that, and I will answer both, and Nick, you will add after. So of course, I mean, definitely, Rodrigo. That's a byproduct of this. What we are doing with our customers, and I can give you an example from a client exactly in Florida currently. We don't only gamify the number of picks. We gamify, for example, the number of cubes. They have 2 units of measure. So again, we can create, the gamification does not need to be based on the number of items, but it can be from a really large number of units of measure. It can be cubes, it can be pieces, it can be, I mean, it will essentially be wherever the client wants to gamify. What we do after that is that, of course, we don't want also people to run, for example, in a warehouse because they want to be the first one to achieve that. So that's also almost a biohazard product of this. What we do is you can do like create a challenge for safety and health. Let's say that if there is no safety and health issues, everyone wins. So after that, you create a balance between people running and people like, oh, I cannot run because if I run, I will lose the challenge, and everyone else will lose the challenge as well. And then you say, okay, but then people might not say, if they find some health and safety issue, they might not report. But again, if you create a challenge around that, and of course, I mean, it creates levels of complexity and layers of complexity, but those layers are just creating or making sure that everyone is first doing what they need to do instead of going to the easy way, and making sure that no one is doing something that will create more chaos than it should, right? Because if people start running in the warehouse, or if people start disregarding health and safety issues, safety situations, that might create problems. So we can leverage all those layers within our software.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Pete had a question.
Yes, good day, gentlemen. Nick, Tiago, great presentation. Very insightful. sharing on an emerging technology, emerging topic. So my question is twofold. One, having spent a lot of time and done business in Europe for many years, one of the questions I had for you was with some of the, I guess I'll call it restrictive data privacy laws in Europe. I'm sure you've come up with ways to engage employees on their individual devices. I don't know if there's some hurdles that you may face with respect to that. Just thought maybe you can offer a comment or two about data privacy and how you overcome that. And then part two, I'm thinking about the overall solutioning cycle. Could you share with us about how long from engagement to deployment is your solution cycle?
Okay. Let me probably answer on the first one, fully GDPR compliant, labor law compliant. But yes, in Germany, you are what we call Zustimmungspflichtig, when it comes to the worker council. But we appreciate it also, We often talk to HR people because it's about engagement. It's not about only, disrespecting people or only about performance. No, it's about the growth mindset you can enrich with gamification. And so this is the first one. And then based on our product, we often play, for example, team-based challenges. We don't bound certain challenges to an individual, and we do not generate new data. We only use the data which anyway exists in the system of the company.
That's interesting. Okay. And then your overall solution cycle from end to end, about how long?
I mean, the easier answer, Pete, is 2 weeks, but let me give you a longer answer on that. So what we aim to do is that, let's say that we have a connection between a source system. Let's give an example. Within corporate WMS, if we have connection to 2 of their WMSs, if a client have their WMS up and running, within 2 weeks, we can have this up and running. It can be even shorter. It will depend. This is a fully software as a service, so we don't need to deploy on a new instance. Everything is on our cloud, etc. We can even go faster because these 2 weeks is for workshops that we normally or understand throughout this process that people will need some time to prepare, etc. We can go even faster, but let's say 2 weeks minimum. If there is no connection between the source system and our solution, we can definitely help building that or build that. And I mean, it will take a bit longer, but I'm not saying more than 1 month or 1.5 months.
Okay.
Please, to add, Pete, very clear. At the end, implementing gamification is not rocket science. So once we come in and we understand together with the people, process, jobs to be done, people to be gamified, pain points, and existing data. Again, we can implement it fairly easy. Yes, there's a bit of integration cycle because it's a SaaS product.
Sure. That's very helpful. Thank you both.
And exactly, just to add, even though it's a SaaS product, just to add that we are removing the layer of people, or the other way around, sorry. We want to avoid that people stop their working in order to input data. So that's why we need to rely on the backbone, let's say like that, to have that integration to collect the data that is already being produced by the workers or the company itself.
Thank you. Thanks. Tim, your question, please.
Yeah, you guys may have already kind of touched on this, so sorry if I missed it. Thanks for the presentation, by the way, today. It's been really great. So I'm a product manager for a software for an inventory modeling, assortment planning, and depth tool. It's utilized by a couple of hundred users for getting the inventory right in about 6,000 locations nationally for Napa Auto Parts. And as such, the modelers, they're choosing amongst, nearly 500,000 parts, or trying to get the right. I mean, they can only pick a fraction of those basically to stock in a given location. And so they're working inside an existing web-based application. The question I kind of had for you all is, with the work that you all do, are you able to integrate within an existing application, or is it a standalone item, or is it a little bit of both, or what?
That's
So,
your question, Tiago.
I mean, yeah, we can integrate. So easy or short answer, yes, we can integrate. Everything is API based, so I mean, just standards. We send data, receive data. We can definitely do that. We just prepare our system to be fully white labeled. What I mean is that if Tim, you want to have a conversation with us for Vibe to become your gamification layer in our solution, let's have a conversation. The system is ready for that.
Yeah, probably to add, right? So let's talk at the engagement layer of it, yeah, and the psychology behind of it at the very end. Yeah, often when you have certain employees, they want to feel very connected to the employer, yeah, and this drives in turn also engagement. Yeah, and that's what Tiago touched on is that, yeah, if you feel like it's a tool or and gamification is something provided basically, yeah, from your employer to you, for example, in a white label perspective, you feel really much attached and connected to your employer, yeah. And then if you even connect certain rewards, which basically connect back to the employer in the system, that's even better, right? So, for example, as a reward, free food in the canteen. You're doing a good job. Your company rewards you for this, yeah. All this is possible out there, yeah, and all this we have seen out there. Yeah.
Nick, can I jump in over here a little?
Go ahead, man.
Sure.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing as a white labeling solution in the project that we're doing in India, right?
Yes.
We are giving them that very feel of being engaged, giving the colors, the logo, the brands, to the extent that we've gone to develop the avatars that resemble them.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And to add probably, right? So you could go even beyond, yeah, and think now also if you have a certain development cycle in any given company, yeah, growth cycle, you could start match gamification items, features to your development cycle and see how you can use this game elements to drive the growth of each and every employer, yeah, based on the individual growth model of each company. And all of a sudden you have a tech layer, a gamification layer, enabling the growth mindset.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Barb, your question. Muted.
Oh, it took
Yeah.
me a minute to find my mic. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I feel like I'm a longtime listener, big fan. So thanks so much for everything you do in the supply chain major. And just on this subject in general, I used to be in Florida. I'm now in California, and I just did a tour of a 3 million square foot Amazon site. And as I'm walking through the building and I'm noticing different things, I'm noticing the volume of the sound of the conveyor belts that are going by. I'm noticing stations that are separate from other people and kind of buried into spaces. And I can really see the value of what you're suggesting as a way to connect to people when you're maybe isolated into a warehouse space that you're not necessarily near other people. I can also see some really cool benefits for health. Like I would want to gamify it where you snapped a picture and you stuck your earplugs in, and I knew you had your earplugs in when you're working in certain parts of the area, or just those kinds of activities that make you feel connected to the other people that are in the building as you're doing kind of a repetitive activity inside of a space. So I think it's a great idea. So thank you for coming up with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing. Probably also to touch base on this thought on is not only, for example, you have often voice picking, for example, by now. Yeah, so people are very, as you said, yeah, isolated and basically, yeah, their own voice picking system. But why not to drive engagement also by, yeah, create a certain challenge and say, hey, your team is doing great today. Yeah, kind of, yeah, data flowing in. You say like, hey, you're close to win the challenge together with your team, with your colleagues, kind of, yeah. So you really can drive happiness and engagement, which in turn then leads, of course, yes, to also the performance improve. But it's all about engagement, as you said.
I had a question. Since nobody raised hand, I'll try to ask. Do you reach a time when there are too many games? Because I keep hearing reports of Lyft and Uber employees. They have their own games. If you pick up so many customers in 3 days or 1 week or do that, and we hear reports of Lyft and Uber employees now just giving up. I'm not going to do even one.
Yeah,
So is there a position when the gamification becomes too much?
so you touch a very interesting point here. Yeah, we have not discovered throughout the application of Vibe and put out there live. Of course, yeah, when we discuss use cases, we often say again, it's about engagement. It's not only driving more and more and more. It's more about the carrot you provide to create a healthy environment. At the end, it's a company, a cultural decision how you apply these elements at the very end. Yeah. What we do throughout the implementation, but also the run phases, to rather encourage engagement, and again, balancing also certain KPIs. Health and safety was mentioned as one of the core principles here.
Yeah. So I'd just like to add that whenever in my engagement, when I've been talking with Nick and Tiago, one word has always come up. It's engagement and not productivity. It's almost like productivity is a byproduct of engagement. And so Nick and both of them have always said that the stress of gamification is to drive engagement, and it's not directly to drive productivity. Correct me if I'm wrong on this.
That's exactly
1000% right.
Yes. Yeah. Productivity, lower fluctuation rates, more happiness at work. This is all a byproduct of engagement.
Yeah.
Are
getting too greedy.
Yeah, at the end, of course, it's an instruments and technology which can be used according to the company culture. The data are there anyway. The question is, what do you do with the data? Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. I used to work for operation company for many years, and then I realized that gamification works on our part because on the operation, we didn't go by what one employee is doing, but it's by everybody by using the data. And with that, there was no fight on somebody tried to get something, but we kind of work together to make things happen. Based on that, everybody benefits from it. But
that's a great example.
But when we think about Uber and Lyft, because I used to do Uber and Lyft as well, I think gamification doesn't work for this type of venue because they go on more on maximize the economic point of view, not the driver who carry their own vehicles and everything, expenses and everything. With that, even you see there's a game, but at the end of the day, when you try to value the game and what you get as a revenue on the job you just did, it still doesn't worth it. Therefore, I think gamification probably doesn't work for type of company like Uber and Lyft.
Yeah, I think just to generalize Gene's thing, it's about the inherent relation of the employee and the company. If the inherent relation is negative, introducing games is not going to help too much probably.
Exactly. But, I mean, and definitely, and picking up on that, and I agree 100% what you said, John. Picking up on that, one of the examples and one of the case studies that we have is exactly on drivers. But it's the other way around. So in this case, it's drivers that needs, or the KPI that they are measured is to be on time, not early, not later. And we were able to increase even really high number, 92 or 93%. So it was already 92 or 93%, and we were able to increase that on top. So again, it's definitely that some companies it will not work. I mean, if there is a bad relationship, as Professor said, or if people are not super engaged with the company, definitely. But that's everything that we are trying to do, is that we don't want people to drive just productivity, but drive engagement. And as Professor said, it will come to the conclusion that if engagement increases, productivity will be a byproduct or subproduct of that, for sure.
All right. Thank you. I know there are more questions, but we are at 2 p.m. That is our hard stop time.
Drop it in.
Nick. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Thanks. First of all, thanks, Godrej Cobber in India. Thank you for connecting me to Nick and Tiago. Thanks, Nick and Tiago, both of you, for, I know it's late evening for you. So being here for us at late evening time. Thanks, everybody, to the participants. We admire and we appreciate your continuous support to these topics. Please, if you, Nick and Tiago had their LinkedIn QR codes, connect with them directly. If you have questions, if you're not, send it to us. We'll be happy to connect you to them. We will keep organizing these webinars every second Wednesday of the month. Our next webinar is on using AI for warehouse optimization. So again, 2 topics which are related to warehouse, but I have your contacts. I will send the invites to the next webinar, which is next Wednesday, I think 8th of December. I'm not 100% sure, but the second Wednesday of December, we are also getting onto the AI bandwagon. If you have any topics, it's 11th. Okay, thanks, Ashit. If you have any topics you want us to cover, if you have any speakers you think would be good for this webinar, please connect to us, to those speakers. We'll be happy to have them and create this kind of learning community. And my last message is, we have a lot of you who keep coming every time. Please feel free to pass these invites to others in your circle, others in your network. Like and repost our post on LinkedIn, because it helps us to create this greater coverage. This is not about making money for us as a university. It's about driving engagement and creating a community of learners. So please help us do that. We'll appreciate your support. Thank you, everybody. And on that note, unless Nick and Tiago have any last words, okay, so we will end this and look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nick and Diego. Cheers.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thanks.